In the homosexual community, one's called the bottom, the other's called the top.
In this world, accessible of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-drunk fraternity guy, you got my ass full of bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. I just can't understand it. But could divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a blue, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public demented. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the buggies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show live on Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're listening on the podcast, check out a live show sometime. It's fun. We're live, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, some Catterdays, all in the evening. And also sometimes my co-host, the Media Wench, is live Tuesday morning for Soups. So you could also check that out. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex or at eplex.store, and you'll get the whole show, including Red Light, sent to your inbox the day after the show is recorded, a couple days before the podcast comes out. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops, donate the cops. Donate the cops, donate the cops. Donate the cops. Like your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong like your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fearless judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong, donate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job, donate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Donate the cops, donate the cops. Donate the cops, donate the cops. Donate the cops. Donate the cops, donate the cops. Donate the cops, donate the cops.
All right, so I don't know if anything newsworthy happened in the last 24 hours. Oh. Looks like something newsworthy happened in the last 24 hours. Here's Newt Gingrich, who I also thought was dead, I guess, to talk about it.
And he was also passionate about issues related to Israel as well. And we're just getting a statement from Benjamin Netanyahu. He says, Lindsay is a great friend of Israel, a cherished friend of mine. We have no better friend than Lindsay. How is this going to affect, issues where Israel's concerned? I mean, tell us what kind of a loss this is going to be for countries where his foreign policy expertise, just meant everything.
Well, look, I think that there's a serious vacuum that he will leave behind. And he filled a big space, and he filled it in many different directions at the same time. And he had huge personal credibility.
What?
President Trump, who I suspect, has golfed with Lindsay 50 or 100 times and found Lindsay to be somebody he could talk with, he could relax with, a genuine personal friend. This is a great loss.
And
That's really so. Why the first thing they talk about is this is a great loss for Israel? I mean, even if you liked Israel or whatever, wouldn't it be like I don't like fuck Lindsey Graham, right? But if you were like wouldn't he be a loss to you, an American or something? But the first thing they talk about is how it's a loss for Israel. It's so fucking weird. It's like, I don't know why we do this stuff. Also, I don't know, R.I.P. Bozo. Hopefully you're next, Newt. Oh, do you know what? You know it's going to be fun? Nancy Mace might run for his seat. She hasn't ruled it out. So that's fucking great. That's fucking great. I think she'd be one of the few people that might lose in that race to like a Democrat.
Longer term, he was on the ballot this fall. You ran for governor. Are you considering running for his seat eventually?
I would say right now, my focus is on South Carolina. I think we're all still just sitting here stunned and shocked that this has happened, and we're mourning his loss. I'm never going to shut the door. I love the state of South Carolina. You only live once, and if the people of South Carolina would like me to serve in that capacity, I'll certainly take a look at it. But right now, I just want to focus on him and his legacy, what he did for the state. He was sort of like, I always envisioned him that he would live to 100, that he would be serving South Carolina like Strom Thurmond for decades and bring home all the resources we would ever need, and then some, which is what he did in his career. And that's what we're focusing on right now, is his life, his legacy, his legend, as Trump so well aptly described this morning on all of his TV interviews.
Yo, the dude, like the chat saying, he's like the fucking bloodthirstiest motherfucker in the world. Yo, that dude never saw a fucking war that he did not think that the United States should immediately get involved in. So, I mean, that's going to be his legacy. I don't know. Fucking R.I.P. Bozo. Donald Trump is not happy because that's one less vote, I guess, for this stupid SAVE Act that he's trying to pass. The SAVE Act being completely unconstitutional, but
anybody like him? He was so intent. I mean, he literally called me about the Save America Act. That's why he's, that's where I heard it. Think of it. He's traveling for many, many hours. That's a long flight. That's a long trip. And he, calls me about the Save America Act. He thought we were going to get it passed.
Do you remember This is
a big blow to the Save America Act, let me tell you.
Do you remember, Mr. President, what was the last thing you said to him? What was the last thing he said to you?
I said, we'll see you soon. Come over anytime you want. He came into the White House a lot because I liked him. Can't do that with everybody. But he'd come in.
The last thing he said to him, stop staring at my son Barron like that. Fuck, dude. All right. Well, I don't know. Rest in piss, Lindsey Graham. I don't know. Like, oh, this was shocking. No, it wasn't. Like, it's a man of his age, like, died of cardiovascular disease. That's not shocking. It's just like not shocking. So, Fox and Friends had a guest on. They had a first responder on, and he seems to have gone a little rogue when he was talking to the people at Fox and Friends about about America 250. So shout out to this Fox and Friends guest.
You guys think so? Let's find out from audience members. Where is Mike? Mike, okay. Mike, what do you think about America in year 250? What comes to mind for you?
Well, this country is a nation of immigrants, and it's nothing better and incredible seeing all of us come together and do incredible things together. And I'm still serving and being in a room amongst
what do you do?
All these veteran advocate for the New Jersey VFW.
Okay.
And nothing is better as being in a room amongst all these uniform heroes and still seeing us serve today and making people's lives better, because we all do come together. When this country needs us, when we're called upon, we come together and do some incredible things. And this is because of all these people in this room. And God bless the United States of America.
Right.
Hell yeah, they did not expect him to be like, oh, this is a nation of immigrants, and that's fucking that guy. I don't know, that guy might even be a Republican, but that fucking rules. Especially like that guy knew exactly what he was doing, where he was, and that he was like not supposed to say that. So good for him. Opposite of a shout out to this guy. This is the president. This is how he talks about immigrants. Yeah, here's what he has to say about one thing. 9 seconds of the president on immigrants.
Open border. Nobody checked. They just walk in. And you could look at some of them. You could say, this is trouble. And they'd walk into our country. We remove them.
You need to look at him and be like, this person's trouble. What kind of visual cues do you suppose the president might be using to decide who is and isn't trouble? Oh, did you know that 4th of July crowd? It was the biggest crowd anyone had ever seen. Except for his inauguration, I guess. That was the biggest crowd they're all the biggest crowd anyone's ever seen. Biggest crowd.
Beautiful people and speeches and tremendous crowds. We had the biggest crowd anyone's ever seen that unfortunately lightning caused it to leave. And everybody said, well, we'll do it another time. When I heard that, I said, no, we won't. Everybody had left. I said, we're not doing it another time. We're doing it on the 4th of July. And we actually started the speech on the 4th of July. We had to wait a little while, like a couple of hours, let the lightning pass. And everyone had left. And we came back, and they had 150,000 people came back from, they took their car, they're going back home to Texas. They turned their car around, they came back. You wouldn't believe it, 150. I think the 150 was more impressive than the 425 or whatever it was. It was pretty amazing.
What the fuck? There were not 500,000. There were not almost 500,000 people. No. Incorrect. Fucking incorrect. This has no idea what 500,000 people looks like. There's no way that before they had to ask everybody to leave so they didn't get struck by lightning or whatever, there's no way there were 425,000 people there. This absolutely just cannot. That is a lot of fucking people. That looks a certain way. And somebody in chat said, oh, if you round up enough times, you just keep rounding up. Here, I guess we're talking about Greenland again. We taking over Greenland? I sure fucking hope not. The people there, I have no quarrel with the people of Greenland, and I figure they're doing fine without us.
With respect to what? Well, that's what hurt my relationship with NATO, because Greenland doesn't help Denmark. Denmark doesn't spend money to really help Greenland, but it's an important part for the United States. And it's surrounded by China ships and Russian ships. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It was Greenland that, and it continues to be, that should be controlled by the United States, not by Denmark. And when they wouldn't go along with it, and with all the money we spend to help them with Russia, and we don't have to spend any money, we could remove all of our soldiers out of Europe. Because as you probably noticed, Europe's a very different place than it was 20 years ago. A lot different, much different. It's a much different, and they better be careful with immigration and energy. If they're not careful with those two things, you're not going to have a Europe anymore. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
So a couple things. One, Denmark doesn't, there's a technical way in which Denmark controls Greenland, but Greenland is more kind of autonomous. Like they're like their own nation. This is so weird. It's not like a fucking colony of Denmark or whatever. This guy's such an idiot. But those people in Greenland, they don't fucking want us there. And the place isn't surrounded by Chinese and Russian ships. Good Lord. I think the Grim Reaper took the wrong person over the weekend. Did you know that we've been at war with Russia for 47 years? They keep telling us this. They keep saying this on the news, and nobody ever says anything back about it or whatever. This time here on CNN, somebody finally said something about this idea that we've been at war with Iran for 47 years.
The market. So he doesn't want to do something that thanks the market.
Guardrails for what? To go back to a world where we're all rainbows and unicorns with the Iranians? They've been at war with us for 47 years.
Rainbows and unicorns.
47 years.
Okay. Nobody has been rainbows and unicorns with the Iranians.
Why didn't I learn about the 40? I'm sorry. The first time I've ever heard about the 47-year Iran war was like this year. About the 47-year war.
Sing it, sister. Sing it.
Like it's insulting to actual conflicts.
It's insulting to intelligence that you have no idea what the Iranians have done.
It's insulting to your intelligence. Everybody's like, everybody's like, they need to fire this guy from CNN. I'm like, nah, this is the only fucking good thing on CNN is watching this guy, watching like just kind of normal basic libs look at this guy and be like, what on earth are you talking about?
Americans have they killed on U.S. soil in 47 years in the war that we
They have killed thousands of Americans. They have maimed American soldiers.
Yeah,
they have attacked American allies, and they have been at war with the West ever since this regime came to power. And it is their intention to build a nuclear weapon and use it on us, and use it on Israel, and use it on the West. That is their intention, and they state it every day.
No, they intend to just keep using the Strait of Hormuz. They have now learned that they can behave like a nuclear power without ever needing to be one. But
just the most basic libs are like, dude, what on earth are you talking about? that, oh, we've been at war for them for 47 years. That whole time they've been 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon too. Like nobody believes this stuff. Like, and I guess we're back. Oh, it's not a war though. It's not a war. It's a military action because only Congress can declare war. See, so here's the president clarifying that this isn't a war. It's a military action. Just a little military action among people who've been at war for 47 years.
Including trying to end the war with Iran, or whatever you call it. It's not even a war, it's a military operation. It's a denuclearization. That's really what it is, of Iran, because I don't think he wants to see them have a nuclear weapon either. I'm pretty sure of that.
I thought you destroyed their nuclear capabilities last summer. Now I guess they're going to get it again, and you're speaking for other people. To be fair, that was Erdogan that he was talking to. Fuck Erdogan. But oh no! Oh, the ceasefire is over. Look, oh, man. I thought we had a ceasefire. I thought he solved the fucking war that isn't a war, but rather a military action. But that's also been a war for 47 years. But I guess the ceasefire is over.
Is the ceasefire over? Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Dude, they're playing you. Donald Trump is getting played. That's what's happening. These people, they're smart people. These are like operators. They know what they're doing. Donald Trump is getting played. That's all that's happening here. Oh, I don't know. I think he's getting played, but he, on the other hand, thinks it's a tremendous success. Tremendous military success.
The Iran war seems to be a strategic dead end for you. Why are you apparently unable to end the Iran war?
So I think we're doing just the opposite. The Iran war has been a tremendous military success. And, you know, I can only answer the question by saying they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. I think I was there for one reason.
What is going on with his makeup? Look at what, that can't just be bad lighting. What is going on with his makeup?
Nuclear weapon. I call it, we denuclearize Iran, and that's happened. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
He's got just baby shit on his face or something.
It's so far down under a mountain. It's a granite mountain that collapsed on top of it. Take months to get it out. I think it's a tremendous success, Iran. And you.
I don't know what to tell. That was a tremendous success. It's not a war. It is a war. It's not a war. Tremendous success. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Who fucking knows? It's either, I don't know. What I guess we do know, or somebody's saying, people are saying, some folks are saying that the people of Iran want the U.S. to come and give them liberty. It's like, give me liberty or give me death. And, well, unfortunately for the people of Iran, I think there's a lot higher probability that the United States is going to give any of them individually death before the United States gives any of them liberty. Just my guess here.
You see these AstroTurf crowds supporting the regime in Tehran, but I don't believe that propaganda. I think the Iranian people are supportive of the United States coming in and helping them to achieve liberty, and I think that's the direction we need to go.
Oh, for sure. The Iranian people are thanking President Trump. It's all.
This is just Iran all over again. Do you remember? Oh, we're going to be greeted as liberators. People are going to come out in the street and give the fucking soldiers a rose and shit. Does everybody remember all that? in the lead up to Iraq. Like, this is the same fucking thing. No, people don't view you as a liberator if you're bombing their country. So, other news, the fallout from Graham Platner is continuing to happen. And one of the people who's crashing out the worst over all this is Anna Kasparian. I have a hypothesis. I think this lady woke up one morning and was like, oh shit, I'm rich. And then it just like ruined her. She just decided she's just going to be one of the worst people in the fucking world. Here's her talking about the person who, in my view, credibly accused Graham Platner of sexual assault.
Because it places us in this unbearable position of having to adjudicate something that should have been adjudicated in a court of law if this actually took place. If someone entered my home and forcibly raped me, I would not allow the individual who forcibly raped me, that's violent, right, to remain in my home and sleep it off. But that is what she did. She alleges that he was so drunk that she didn't want to tell him to leave because he might harm someone on the road. He just forcibly raped you, right? Call the cops, or more importantly, get the hell out of the house. But she did neither one of those things. Neither one of those things.
Yeah. This is fucking gross. This is fucking gross. It's absolutely fucking just, I don't know, man. Sometimes, you could do sometimes actually, you could just fucking not say anything. That's a fucking option for some people, right? You could just not say fucking shit, right? Because like often, like, I don't know, you don't have to have a fucking hot take about everything. And like in this case, like, I don't know. I never was jumped on the fucking train for that guy because I live fucking 3,000 miles away from that guy anyway. So I'm not voting in Maine. I don't fucking like he worked for fucking Eric Prince's outfit. I never got on the train. I was like, well, I don't know. He won his primary, or even before I was like, I think he's going to win his primary. And I hope he beats Susan Collins so that the Democrats can take the Senate. But I didn't get like personally invested in that in any way, except for like to make fun of the people. There's some people on Twitter with like blue check marks who spent 14 to 16 hours a day just rage posting about him. I spent a little time making fun of them. But like, honestly, if it wasn't Platner, they were just going to be rage posting about somebody else. Now those same people are rage posting about Abdul. I forget I don't want to butcher his last name really badly. Up in Michigan, running against the AIPAC supported Democratic candidate up there. Now they're fucking raging for 14 to 16 hours a day about him. So I don't know. Fox News has some takes on Graham Platner, and they kind of can't decide actually whether they're like, oh, well, the Democrats are full of like sexual assaulters, or if the Democratic Party, if they're obstructing or getting rid of the will of the people by putting another candidate, and they just can't decide which it is.
Race. And for Democrats, to your point as well, Kellyanne, they're doing the old switcheroo again. Democrat voters spoke in 2024 and they put Joe Biden at the top of their ticket. But Democrat powers that be pushed him out, made sure he got out in enough time for them to put somebody else at the top. And what do you know? Democracy be damned. Democrats are going to do it again in Maine. It was known that Graham Platner had a Nazi tattoo that instead of getting rid of, he covered up. There were multiple credible.
Wait, instead of well, what do you mean getting, wait, what? You cover, what do you mean instead of getting rid of? Like, I don't understand what she means. If you have a tattoo that's like embarrassing, the best thing to do is to cover it with another tattoo.
Against him that would be discrediting for everybody. But Democrat primary voters in Maine still said that's our guy. And now that they are seeing the polling numbers soften, they are seeing Susan Collins run as she always does as a candidate for Maine. They're saying, oh, we're about to lose again. Power is all we care about. So we're going to try to push Graham Platner out. They don't care about the voters. They don't care about the will of the people. And Democrats don't care about democracy because when push comes to shove, they choose power each and every time. They had an opportunity not to nominate Graham Platner. They chose him. They should have to lay in the bed they made.
But he dropped out, and there's a process by which the party can choose another candidate if the person who wins the primary drops out. Is that process perfect or even good? Probably not. But like, there's a process. I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing is a fucking disaster. Here's Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House. I guess he's got to have a take about this too. I don't know why this guy didn't just take the fucking bag and fucking leave, but I guess he's got to have a take about it too.
And Mr. Speaker, it strikes me that Graham Platner is not the profile and courage here for dropping out in his 11-minute I need therapy video. It's the women who came forward. And I would remind everybody, last year, Mark Robertson, or 2 years ago, he was a big hot mess in North Carolina, and people abandoned him, the Republican nominee. Have you faced that as Speaker before? And can you think of any parallel to Graham Platner that either party's had to deal with, that someone has let it go on so long he got 72% of the vote in a primary? Do we have history here?
Well, there's always examples because, look, we're a microcosm of society. We have Stephen King that had some difficulty problems, not with women, but in some of his positions, and he was defeated in a primary, but people moved him off committee. You had a number of people as we look through, but Platner had examples before. Was it okay to have the Nazi symbol on him? Was it okay to have these womanizing problems before? We've seen this many times.
Okay, so so first of all, womanizing. Oh, I'll wait till this clip is over.
The Intel Committee, I took it to the floor. Nancy Pelosi protected him. I tried to remove him times before. Nancy Pelosi protected him. But what we have found time and again, the party needs to rise up to protect it.
So, womanizing, I think, is like a blanket term that kind of means whatever it needs to mean whenever it needs to mean it. Because somebody could just say that you're a womanizer or whatever, and it just means that you fucking sleep around, or it could mean that you're like, deceiving and possibly like abusing people. So I don't like the term womanizer. I mean, if Homeboy was just sleeping around, none of this would be a problem, right? It was the specific nature of and credibility of the allegation. Like if you saw it, if you read into it a little bit, the woman, she was like, I was reluctant to come forward because I want the Democrats to take the Senate. She's like, I agree with his platform. She's like, I just didn't want him to get into office and then have stuff from other people come out and it ruin everything. So, this isn't like, it's not what Fox is saying here. Oh, now they're going to bring up Tara Reid too. This is on Fox Business, actually. They're going to bring up Tara Reid. Oh, God.
The moral compass in the Democratic Party has long been dead for many of the folks within the Democratic Party. I think back to 2020 when there was an allegation by Tara Reid against Joe Biden, and women in the Me Too movement said, I believe her, but there's no way that I can step out and say that because I want Trump to lose. So they've already prioritized winning over anything else. So this is where we are as a country. You can pick the good guys, which are more than likely the Republicans, or you can pick the Democrats who continuously show us that they are not up for the task. They're not morally responsible.
So, there weren't, like, who were all these Democratic women that like fucking believed Tara Reid, didn't come out and were talking to the fucking Fox, the guy that like hangs out on Fox Business about it? Like, I just don't believe him, right? It's like, oh, you can't meet them. They go to another school. So we're going to move on now. Fox has some takes on the DSA also. So their takes aren't limited to Platner. They're talking about the DSA, even though Platner wasn't a DSA candidate. They endorsed him, but they endorsed all, in their voter guide, essentially. They endorsed almost all the Democrats in their voter guides. Anyway, here's Fox talking about the DSA.
No, look, I think what we're seeing is beyond alarming. And I think the Democratic Party has been taken over by the far left, by the Democrat Socialists of America. And what we find, the common thread between all of them, is that they actually hate America. When you look at the policies they're putting forth, they're policies that ultimately take away our freedoms, that create dependency on government. When you look at what they're saying about who's responsible for what, you saw this candidate that you just talked talked about in Michigan, who said that he didn't want to say anything about the Ayatollah being killed because he was afraid that people in Michigan were sad about it. Look, I was in Fort Rucker, Alabama today.
Yeah, but who's the one who said that?
Women, and I can tell you,
I wasn't sad that the Ayatollah was killed. Like, who the fuck was sad? I just thought it was like a really bad idea that we fucking bombed him. It's two different fucking things. Like, who the fuck is sad that the Ayatollah was killed?
One thing, that the man who was responsible, the Ayatollah, for terror all across the globe, but in particular has Americans' bloods on their hands, any candidate should be able to say that we are glad that they are no longer here. These candidates can't say they love America. You saw the candidate there in New York in Congress say that instead of using a napkin, she wiped her hands on the American flag. It's disgusting and despicable.
I love it.
Call them out for what they are. And we have to realize that the Democratic Party is completely and totally lost, and it is beholden to the socialist of America. It's a sad day.
So so the one thing that a lot of what they're talking about relies on is the idea that like Michigan is like and Minnesota, both of them actually, right? Both of these states are just chock full of fucking Muslims, and it's not true. I don't think there's any state in this country that has like more than like 1.5% of fucking Muslims. There's no state like chock full of Muslims. Like whatever, there's Muslims in my neighborhood. I notice them, or I assume they're Muslim. I don't know. Maybe I'm stereotyping or whatever. But like, I don't know. Like, no, nobody's like afraid to like disrespect the fucking Ayatollah because they think people are going to get sad. Like, what in the world? Like, what in the fucking world are these people? They like live in a completely alternate universe. They just cannot join us here in reality. I don't know. The other thing is they're like, oh, well, they want to dance on certain people's graves too, but they don't want you to dance on anybody's grave that you don't like. There's also that. That's real important. Anyway, here's more Fox on the DSA.
Or polls that way. There is something to that. We need to explain to people what socialism is. We have a great investigative unit on Saturday in America. We've done a deep dive into these DSA folks. They want to build a coalition of religious people with socialist values to defeat Christian nationalism. What is Christian nationalism? Okay, they want to defeat the moral fabric of this country.
Christian, lady, go watch the Testaments or Handmaid's Tale. That's what it is. That's what people are worried about.
Rip up Article 1, no Senate. Rip up Article 3, no Supreme Court. When you end judicial review, you end the Supreme Court. They want non-citizen voting, no electoral college. They want to change the fabric of this country, rip up the constitutional foundation of America. That is what socialism is, and we need to educate people, to Lisa's point.
32-hour work week, too. And New Green Deal. We should add that.
Although I'm okay with the 32-hour work.
Yeah, stop it.
And the only other asterisk. The socialism you like.
The only other asterisk.
You think Brian Kilmeade working fucking 60 hours a week? Get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah. So, the Senate and the Electoral College are both fucking stupid, right? Like, just think about LA County, Los Angeles County here in California. It has more people than, I don't know, the several of the smallest states combined. I think it's 4 or 5 of the smallest states combined, maybe 6. But LA County is part of a state that only has 2 senators, and the 6 states that LA County is bigger than have 12 senators. So it's like it's a fucking gerrymander. It's like the worst. The Senate is the worst gerrymander, and like not for nothing, the Electoral College makes it so if there have been situations, 2 in my life, where there are 2 people running for president. One of them gets the most votes, and the other one is the president. So like, I don't know, that shit's fucking stupid. No other country does that. There's countries where they don't directly elect the president, like parliamentary systems, like the UK. They don't elect their prime minister. Maybe that's a better way to do it. I don't fucking know. But those two, the Senate and the Electoral College are really bad. I don't know if it's wise, like politically, to just come out there with all that shit at once. Well, time will tell if that's good strategically for the DSA. But I don't know. Sounds good to me. We should just elect the president by whoever got the most votes. Like their guy would have won last time. Although I think things like the Electoral College and the gerrymander that is the Senate tend to drive down turnout in densely populated areas, right? Because like, what the fuck does it matter if I don't vote in Oakland, California? Like the president's going to be the same fucking person whether I vote or not. Whereas if we did a popular vote, sure, I'm just one of, 130 or 140 million voters, but at least my vote isn't completely diluted by the winner take all system of the Electoral College where, it doesn't matter basically if I vote for the president or not. Same with somebody in Alabama, right? Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat in Alabama, why even fucking bother voting for the president? You know that Alabama's Electoral College votes are all going to the Republican. So it drives down voter turnout. But I think people like that. I think a lot of people like the Electoral College because it's just the way that things have shaken out in our country. If somebody wins the Electoral College but doesn't win the most votes, that's going to be a Republican. Because all the fucking densely populated areas are the ones that lose their electoral power in the big elections, and all the densely populated areas are liberal areas. So that's why they like the Electoral College, is because that makes them win sometimes when they shouldn't, right? There's no other reason that they like that shit. And they like the Senate because, again, I think Wyoming has less people in it than Oakland. Like the whole state of Wyoming, I think, has fewer people in it than the city of Oakland, and they get 2 fucking senators. Yeah, fucking Republicans love that shit. Of course they do. If that shit was flipped on its head, maybe I'd like it, maybe I wouldn't. I like to think that I'm fairer minded than that, but I do like winning, and which is unfortunate because I'm a registered Democrat. So, and also, little less of this happening lately. I think they're just focused on other things, but they're still freaking out about this James Tallarico guy. This is gonna backfire on them. I don't think they're gonna get any traction with this stuff because they're basically doing everything they can not to use that F slur about this guy, right? They want to call him a word that I can't say here on Twitch, right? And a word that I try not to use anyway. But they can't do it. Even on Fox, they can't do it. So they're trying everything short of that, and it's not working.
Senate. He's a lightweight. He's a 90-pound weakling. He couldn't lift a 10-pound weight in a gym if he helped it. And I don't think that Jasmine and the black community is going to come out and support him, and that will sink him. Oh,
wait, what? He's 90. I don't know, dude. I think the dude's 6 feet tall, and he's kind of trim. What, he's 6 feet, maybe 180 or so. I don't give a fuck how much he weighs though. Couldn't lift a 10-pound weight in a gym. What are we talking about? Look at the guy they were showing. What's that guy? A weightlifting champion that they had on? Dude, I bet James Tallarico could do way more push-ups than that old man they just had on Fox News. I don't know shit about James Tallarico's physical fitness or whatever, but this isn't working. He's just a normal guy, right? He looks like he should be a Republican. When you look at him, I'd just look at that guy and be like, ooh, that guy's a young Republican. They'd be like, he's 37. I'd be like, wow, some people get real lucky, don't they? So this isn't working though. This isn't going to work. So, a person we used to cover on our intellectual Dollar Tree show, Gad Saad, went on to Sean Hannity's show, which I don't know how he got on Sean Hannity's show, but he went on Sean Hannity's show and he's on there to talk about communism.
And as socialism gains traction with young voters and far-left activists, Gad Saad, who happens to seem to be Elon Musk's favorite author, recently was on my podcast. Discussed why
Dude, he told you to say that. No, dude, this guy, Gad Saad, has been trying so hard to get Elon to notice him.
He believes communism is incompatible with human nature. Anyway, he's the author of Suicidal Empathy. Professor Gad Saad is with us. I think Elon has promoted your book more than any one person in the world. In light of the discussion I just had with Bill de Blasio and John Fetterman, and your book, which I read cover to cover, and your experience living in Canada as you described it on my podcast, what's your political takeaway?
Well, as we discussed on your show, Sean, there are sound bites that sound nice coming from socialism. Sharing is caring. It's unfair that some people have more money than other people. Shouldn't there be an empathetic overlord that comes along and, recalibrates income distribution? That sounds nice if I were a 5-year-old child in kindergarten. But in the real world, where we recognize that there are differences across people, we are a hierarchical species. Some of us are harder working, less harder working, taller, shorter, better looking, less better looking, to try to...
And some of us are the most annoying person on the planet. And yet somehow we have money and a good career.
Sociopolitical economic system that is contrary to our human nature is always going to fail. But that notwithstanding, there's always a new generation of imbeciles that are going to fall prey to the allure of the message of socialism.
Okay, so the main question is, let me go back to the questions I was bringing to former Mayor de Blasio. They want to seize the means of production. They want to seize private property.
So, okay, so this is not a democratic socialism or social democracy. He's talking about like almost end stage communism.
Police. They want to abolish America's prisons, America's borders. They don't even want criminal illegals that commit murder and rape and are convicted deported. Can that party win in this country?
Well, they can if there is a sufficiently large number of people who have been infected by the parasitic form of suicidal empathy, right?
Oh, the parasitic. Yeah, this guy's simping so hard right now trying to get Elon Musk to be his friend. Elon Musk fucking does not. This guy just tries so hard. He first thing he was doing, he was trying hella hard to get Barry Weiss's attention and was hella mad at her for not taking a picture of him in front of the plant when she did that weird intellectual dark web fucking article. Now he's trying to get Elon to fucking fucking notice him and boost him, and that's not working either.
To not give felons 147th chance again. It's mean to not allow all illegal immigrants who want to participate in American exceptionalism to not be granted an opportunity. So if you view the world through the prisms of suicidal empathy, then that message will resonate with people. And by the way, today is Canada Day, but hopefully soon I will be celebrating July 4th as a fellow American.
Well, congratulations. You know, whatever.
This guy's going to move to Austin, Texas, though, and then complain about how woke it is there. These people all do that. They all move to Austin because this guy's like from a city and he wants all the advantages and amenities of living in a big city. So he's going to move to Austin, Texas, and then just complain about how woke it is there.
Whatever manifestation, whatever form, socialism, statism, redistributionism, communism, whatever you want to call it, it seems to always end up with the same results. Unfulfilled promises. You end up with more poverty than before. You then calculate how much freedom you gave up in the name of false security. Why is it so appealing to people to think...
Wait, that he just is describing the United States.
Oh, we'll empower government officials to take this group of people's money, their hard work, their success, and we'll give it to another group of people, and then the politicians become all powerful.
Because it depends what is the metric that you're trying to optimize, right? If your goal is to create equality or as close to as possible of equality of incomes, then that message resonates well. It's unfair that Elon Musk makes a lot more money than some other guy who's on food stamps. But if you recognize that the most direct way for optimal flourishing, both at the individual level and at the collective level, is through capitalism, then you'll be optimizing a different metric. And so, but again, this is why it is such an alluring message, because there's always going to be an AOC and a Bernie Sanders that points to those people on top of the hill and says, it's unfair that they make so much money. Let's get them to their fair taxes, even though they pay most of the taxes.
I've got to believe in my heart and soul that most Americans have enough common sense to reject this form of radicalism. We'll know a lot more in the midterm.
So when it's deceiving, right? He says they pay most of the taxes. Well, not as a percentage of their income, right? So the problem, so in raw dollars, yeah, rich people pay more dollars into the system than working class or poor people do. But as a percentage of their income, working class and poor people are getting slammed by taxes because they don't, you can't write your rent off, right? There's nothing to write off when you're poor. So you can pay the same sales tax as everybody does if you got sales tax where you're at. Got to pay into Social Security. Otherwise, what are you going to do when you retire? You're not going to have a yacht like the rich people. The rich people don't give a fuck about Social Security. So, yeah. So it's fucking misleading. Here's Marsha Blackburn's ad that she ran for her to be reelected as in the U.S. Senate. This also mentions communism, but this is a little different. A little different than what Gad Sad was saying. It's just as dumb, but Gad Sad was pretending to be smart.
How hard am I gonna crack down on China? Well, here's a clue.
Marsha Blackburn worked with President Trump to take on communist China. As governor, Marsha will fight to protect Tennessee land from Chinese front companies, close loopholes, and hunt down every communist who tries to defy us.
It doesn't take a fortune cookie to figure it out. Here in Tennessee, we're going to stop communist China and protect Tennessee land.
What the fuck, dude? Fucking fortune cookies? Fucking communist ass fortune cookies. Like, come on. Stop it. Weren't fortune cookies like a U.S. invention? Anyway. Here's a speculation about Mitch McConnell was abounding during the week, and it still abounds a little bit today.
Do you think he'd be willing to call into the show? Could we get him on the phone now?
I wasn't really expecting him to call this morning, to be honest. So when the phone rang and I was able to talk to him, I was frankly pretty grateful. I mean, as I said, I've known him since I was a teenager. If it hadn't been for Mitch McConnell and the McConnell Center at the University of Louisville, I would never have been able to go to college. He's been my mentor and he changed the trajectory of my life. So, when things happen to him and happen to people in your life that you really care about, you just sort of naturally feel extremely worried. So when I heard his voice today and he was clearly keeping up with stuff, that made me happy to hear from him, because like everybody else, I've been, somewhat in the dark about it. But to hear him talking and to know that he's also talking to the Senate leadership, it made me pretty happy.
The MAGA media ecosphere, shall we say, has been driving a lot of the questions about where Mitch McConnell has been and what has happened to him. You, of course, are in tune with that in the role you have on your radio show. Do you think they should put out a picture of Mitch McConnell, that he should release more to the public to quiet this noise?
Yeah, I think Al had a good point about McConnell's general disposition towards privacy. I sometimes wonder, like, if I were laying in a hospital bed, would I want a bunch of people around photographing me? Probably not, particularly if I were an 84-year-old person who's normally private about his health. Probably not. But I take the criticism. I think it's a fair question about transparency. I think it's a fair question about whether they've done enough. But ultimately, these office holders, they're in charge of their own operations. And it may be somebody around him says, let's put out a picture, and he doesn't want to do it. I think that's a fair observation from Al. But all I can tell you today is all the rumors about him being dead or brain dead or his body's being hidden somewhere. I've seen all kinds of crazy things on the internet. That's obviously not true, because he picked up the phone and called me, and that was a good thing.
All right, well, let him know. Our phone lines are open here at the arena. Should he
Long-time listener, first-time
wish
caller.
to call in, as someone who covered many of his Senate campaigns, not as many, of course, as Al Cross, but a couple. Al, thank you very much.
I don't know. I think he's alive. Like, there's all kind of people cooking, but at the point this was recorded, I don't know. It was just like, I talked to him about policy or something. Like, I had a 45-minute conversation with him. We talked about these things, and I was like, I don't know about that. It seems to be alive today. A lot of people are fucking cooking that shit. A lot of people are baking that shit, though. I saw one of the libs. I forget his name now. I kind of don't like him. Tony I forget now how to say his last name. I don't want to say Polanski because I don't think that's right. But he posted a thing that he had obviously used an LLM to upscale, and the words were all fucked up on the newspaper. And I'm like, well, yeah, you used an LLM try to upscale the image, and it didn't know what the fuck to do with the fucking blurry newspaper that you could barely see. I was like, you idiot. You fucking idiots. There's another post I saw where someone claimed that the picture was from fucking 2023, and then like, well, okay, where was it reported? Where'd you show it in 2023? Nothing. Crickets. I'm mad at people. I'm mad at people for asking, like, well, where? What is the context of this photo from 2023? Person just got mad at other people. Fucking. Anyway, here's Benjamin Netanyahu on Fox, basically complaining that people don't like him. I love this for him. I fucking love this for Benjamin Netanyahu, that he has to go on Fox and complain that people don't like him.
It concerns me that there's that element of anti-Israel, first of all, in the Democratic Party and in the woke right. I'm concerned with that, and to the extent that we can do something to mend it, obviously I'll do it. But I find that there's something unique about these attacks, and that something is that the people who hate Israel end up hating America. And I've seen that, when they do these these demonstrations, these protests against Israel defending itself, this tiny country defending itself against these terrorist murderers who commit to exterminate us. And we do what any self-respecting country would do, we defend ourselves. But when they do the protests, they burn Israeli flags, and very often right next to them, they burn American flags.
Fuck yeah.
And those Americans who support Israel, non-Jews and Jews alike, when they do a demonstration to support Israel, they wave the Israeli flag and they wave the American flag.
Well, that sucks.
About the long-term durability of the U.S.-Israel relationship.
I worry about the trends that I see. I won't tell you that I'm not worried about it, because I think it has something to do with frankly, with the social media, with the penetration of social media that has been used and abused by countries, three in particular, and they've had bot farms that push the stuff against America and against Israel, and it focuses on young people and young Americans, and I can't say that I'm not worried about the effect that it has. How do you combat this? It's hard, because democratic countries don't have the ability to fight this this bot war and with the same means. We are accountable, we're transparent. It's not so simple. But I think you'll see a correlation between the penetration of certain social media and the decline in patriotic American feelings and support for Israel.
Okay.
It's something we have to deal with. But am I worried about it? Look, I think that our alliance is not merely based on common interests. I think it's based on common values. And as long as
Yeah, but that common value is hating Muslims, and I think like fewer and fewer Americans hate Muslims as 9/11 gets further and further into the past, and there are people who are fucking 25 years old who were born after 9/11 who you like. I think this ship has sailed. I think that the common value is that a lot of anti-Islam hatred, and I think that like younger people don't really feel that way for the most part.
To those common values, freedom, the right of every individual to live and not be slaughtered by fanatics. People should have free choice in their lives.
Okay.
And of course, to have our common heritage, which has brought so much to the world.
What common heritage?
Our alliance will be fine.
Does he mean that we're seeing it, that he sees America as a white nation and he sees Israel as a white nation? Is that what he means, common heritage? Does he just mean like European? Because a lot of the people in Israel are like Ashkenazi, that like European. Does he mean European? Like, what does he mean? I think he just means white.
The most important thing that I can say, Jackie, in closing, is that I want to wish you and the people of America a happy 4th of July.
Fuck you. Dude, nobody likes this guy. That's just too bad. Nobody likes you. Ooh, random. Here, time for a random ghoul. If everybody's okay with this, we're going to do a random ghoul here. This is Mayim Bayek. Famously, she played Blossom on the show Blossom. And then she took a lot of heat because she got a degree in neuroscience and then started going around telling people that like, I don't like the vaccine schedule. And she took a lot of heat for that and then backed off of that. And now she's like interviewing people about like doing remote viewing, like on her podcast. Shit's like about aliens and it's all fucking weird. Here's her complaining that that people are criticizing her for saying that she is on the left, but also supporting Israel. She doesn't like that people are criticizing that. I just figure, I don't know, lady, you have a somewhat popular show. Maybe sometimes people are going to criticize you.
I cannot be asked to choose between being a liberal and being a Zionist. Every term and all of the nomenclature that many of us used to use, especially if we are, liberals or Democrats, right?
Right.
None of that seems relevant anymore. This spectrum on both ends has been pulled so far that it's just a circle.
Totally.
It's like a messed up circle. So
That's a horseshoe theory. You're talking about horseshoe theory.
many politics of the far left. I mean, and I don't identify with many of the things that the Democratic Party has chosen to prioritize, not just for the Israel reason or the Jewish reason. I think many of us feel very confused about our identity as Democrats because I think the Democratic Party has really let a lot of us down. And saying that earned me accusations of being a Republican in my own home, right? That's how polarized it got. Democratic Party, all of
Listen, liberal, my family thinks I'm a right-winger now. It's all your fault.
All of a sudden, there's only one solution. That means you're a Republican. No, I got a lot of other choices in between, you know? The principles of liberalism hold true no matter what. I believe in upholding the fallen and healing the sick. I'm okay with also living in a country where some people believe in the welfare system and some people don't. Like, I was raised to understand that people have differences of opinion. We don't go shooting each other in the street about it, right? So none of that has changed for me. I believe in many of the policies surrounding legalization of drugs, of prostitution. You know, I'm a liberal. However,
So those are like more like libertarian anyway.
Support for Israel is in conflict with the Democratic Party is fallacious and it's sinful. And in addition, whatever's happening on those far fringes of the right is also not appreciated. We have to get out of that binary, right? Absolutely. And this country is young. And whatever experiment we were doing seems to be revealing that there's something about this, you know, binary system that is not meeting my needs, certainly as a liberal Jew. There's a lot of moral ineptitude. It is egregious to treat one minority population with such disdain, hatred, disrespect, and intensity. When if any other minority group received this kind of attention, there would be a blood in the streets. That is the most suspicious aspect of what is going on. And this is what I tell my children. We don't have to agree on everything, but there's something conspicuously suspicious about the attention being paid to Israel.
They're fucking kids. Like, she's how old could her kids be? Is she getting like wrecked by like a fucking 11-year-old at dinner or something? I don't know. My 12-year-old daughter keeps calling me a genocide apologist at dinner, and she doesn't even have TikTok. I didn't vaccinate them or anything. I don't know what's wrong. Fucking crazy lady. Yo, like, most liberals now do not have a favorable opinion of Israel. It's one of the reasons a lot of people like stayed home in the 2024 election. Kamala Harris took a position that like something like 65 to 70% of the rank and file in the Democratic Party, not leftists, not the DSA, not communists, not fucking Antifa, not the fucking not fucking people that work at like the fucking anarchist bookstore, right? Mainstream Democrats didn't agree with that, and it was one of the factors among many that caused the Democratic nominee Kamala Harris to not only lose the Electoral College but to lose the popular vote in 2024. So she is out of step with the Democratic Party. But also she's out of step with the Republican Party too, because more and more as you watch the trend line, polling just at rank and file Republicans, a lot of them don't have a favorable view of the nation state of Israel either. Now, mind you, these might be for very different reasons, right? A lot of conservatives don't really think the Palestinians are people. So if you go over to the right, especially as you get further and further to the right, the thing they don't like about Israel is the Jew thing, right? But there's a lot of like moderate Republicans that just think that like it's like fiscally irresponsible for the United States to keep sending fucking money over there for this fucking conflict that never seems to end to go on. So like it's, you know, a variety of reasons, some of which I don't necessarily agree with, some of which I wholeheartedly agree with, but she's doing this thing, and I think it's anti-Semitic actually what she was doing. She was again conflating the idea of the nation state of Israel with the international Jewry, right? And that's anti-Semitic because Israel does not represent Jewish Americans. The Americans have their own very flawed representative democracy. And that's the government that represents Americans is the United States of America. Be us atheist, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, whatever. So it's anti-Semitic to suggest actually that the nation state of Israel represents Jews all over the world. It's fucking stupid. And I think they just do that because the other option is to defend the actions of the nation state of Israel. And that's getting more and more difficult, even for the truest of true fucking believers, as we've seen. So somewhat related is our conflict. I don't know. Iran. Here's Brian Kilmeade on the 5. I guess looks like Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld are off. That's weird. I hope they got fired. But here is even Brian Kilmeade doesn't think that Kushner and Witkoff should be over there trying to negotiate with Iran, seeing as they're not the State Department. Like, again, flawed as our system is, if you're going to have negotiations, diplomatic negotiations with another country, it should be done through the State Department. Sometimes special envoys are appointed or whatever, but generally that's the job of the fucking State Department. And so even Brian Kilmeade, one of the stupidest people on television, thinks that maybe sending over Donald Trump's real estate buddies isn't really the best way to solve this or any problem.
And I also don't think that Witkoff and Kushner should be the ones doing this. They're business guys. They have not been effective in Ukraine, not been effective in Gaza. They have not been effective in this. They can't have 3 portfolios to begin with. We have a State Department for a reason. Marco Rubio, even Democrats admit, has been looked at as a genius internationally. He is the guy that most people would want, even if you gave truth serum to Democrats. He should take the lead on this because you can't do this like a business deal. You have to understand the history of the region and how distrustful the Iranians have been. They will only make a decision if they have no other choice.
You know, Kayleigh.
Donald Trump, fucking up for like 2 days on Adderall, is gonna do like a 5,000 word post on Truth Social about fucking Brian Kilmeade now. I don't think Marco Rubio is a fucking foreign policy genius, but he does have, he's the Secretary of State. It's his job. It's his job to like oversee the diplomatic negotiations with other countries. I think Marco Rubio doesn't want to go over there because I think he thinks he's running in 2028 and he doesn't want this fucking stink all over him, which is a pretty good strategic maneuver, right? I think he's going to run in 2020. I think he's going to get fired by Donald Trump at some point. They're maybe going to have a falling out. And then by the time he runs in 2028, he's going to be all Donald who and try to run as like a moderate. I think that's what's going to happen. And so he doesn't want the stink from this Iran fucking shit all over him. And that's why he's perfectly happy to let Donald Trump send his real estate buddies over there to fucking poorly negotiate this thing. I don't even know who this guy, I don't even know who Smith is, but Smith also doesn't think that Donald Trump's real estate buddies should be over there negotiating with government.
A lot of experts told them.
Do you think Trump should listen to Brian Kilmeade when he was basically suggesting
that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff should not be leading these negotiations?
Oh, God, yes. Okay, I think that's like blindingly obvious. It doesn't take Brian Kilmeade to figure that out. Let's have experience.
No, actually, I think by the time Brian Kilmeade figures something out, everyone else has already figured it out.
Experienced diplomats, Middle East experience, nuclear experience, Iran experience. You know, the State Department is an incredibly capable operation. And Republicans, use the people with the experience to really do the diplomacy, not two guys who are cutting real estate deals in New York. So, yeah, I don't think it's blindingly obvious that we should have different people leading this negotiation.
It doesn't take Brian. That's the funniest thing I've ever fucking. It's like it doesn't take a rocket scientist. When you say it doesn't take and then anything to figure something out, you're usually like citing expertise or like at least domain knowledge, right? And this guy's like, it doesn't take Brian Kilmeade to figure it out. I don't know. Was that a dig at Brian Kilmeade? Is that a dig at President Trump? Is that just a fucking dig at our overall fucking political discussion right now to where Brian Kilmeade every once in a while gets to be the voice of reason? Who fucking knows? So we're going to go back to, this is Fox Business. This is Senator Kramer talking about how it's totally okay, actually, that Donald Trump is doing crypto rug pulls. And why wouldn't you want the president to be successful at something like a crypto rug pull?
The Clarity Act is a little, we did pass it out of the committee, as you know, out of the banking committee with Democratic votes, but even the Democrats that voted for it in committee won't vote for it on the floor unless a couple of things are straightened out, one of them being some of the ethics language, which I think, by the way, Democrats are insisting on simply because Donald Trump's the president. Right. And because he's successful at business, which is bizarre to me. I mean, if we punished every president who was successful at something and said they can't legislate, if they're a farmer like Jimmy Carter, they can't sign a farm bill. I mean, Hoover was in the mining business for.
But Jimmy Carter sold his peanut farm that wasn't worth fucking shit. Like Jimmy Carter had like a peanut farm that he put in like a blind trust or something. Like when he became the president, you fucking idiot. This is he did the opposite. Like that peanut farm wasn't going to cause any major conflicts of interest for the president of the fucking United States of America. But Jimmy Carter was just trying to fucking do what everybody else had done, trying to be somewhat ethical. I know there's no such thing as an ethical president, but he was trying to be somewhat ethical, or at least fucking. Oh, he sold it. I thought he put it in a blind trust. I'm learning from the chat that he fucking sold it. Oh, shit.
And out loud, there are lots of potential conflicts, but it's all about Donald Trump in this case. I think there are a couple of those things. That's something that the White House is going to have to work out with Democrats, quite honestly. It's between them. And if the CFTC commissioner chair thinks that we're close, it may be something. There may be something that we know that he knows that we don't know.
So this would be like if Jimmy Carter, as president, was selling his most rabid followers shares in a peanut farming company that doesn't exist, right? That would be the analogy here, or the analogy that would work. It would be like if he was like, buy into my peanut farm, and then you give him, I don't know, $80 or $100, and you go, whoopsie poopsie, your $80 investment is now worth 50 cents. Would you like that back? That's what that would have been like. This guy just likes that Donald Trump scams people. I bet a lot of these people like got information about when the rug pull was happening. And in addition to Donald Trump, a lot of other people got out before the thing crashed. I think that's why they like it. It's because they were getting information about it. So Davy Hearn is an Olympian who is facing up to 10 years in prison for touching the fucking reflecting pool. And I guess there was like some of the paint from the bottom was coming up, and it would kind of reach the surface, and he like kind of tugged on it. She might be like, well, what the fuck is this? And they're trying to get him. They're trying to charge him with like a felony for fucking touching the fucking reflecting pool. Here's his lawyer after I believe after a hearing talking about this insane fucking prosecution.
Today, Davy Hearn pled not guilty. Because he is not guilty. If Mr. Hearn can be charged with a felony for touching the reflecting pool, every American is at risk. And every American should be alarmed about this prosecution. This indictment reflects the administration's effort to scapegoat Davey and to shift blame for their own failures.
Absolutely.
We will litigate these issues vigorously. We have confidence in our justice system to see through this misuse of government power against an ordinary American based on a false and politicized narrative. I'll take just a couple of questions.
The government says they have a lot of evidence. You guys call it weak. Where does it all stand? How much evidence do they have?
We will now engage in the discovery process. We anticipate receiving substantial discovery. The evidence will establish, as we have stated today, Mr. Hearn is innocent. We will reserve questions about exactly what happened for the trial. That is what the justice system is for. It is not a crime to touch the reflecting pool, to touch water in the United States of America. One last question. Hold on.
I'm just thinking of Henry Kissinger drunk off his ass in like 1978 going skinny dipping in the fucking reflecting pool or some shit. I'm just imagining like the kinds of things that have happened there.
One last question from this gentleman.
Sir, do you think this case will actually go to trial? Do you think the prosecution might drop it at a certain point? What's the potential timeline here?
We will vigorously contest the case at every stage of the trial. You will see very active motions practice. You'll find a statement from Congressman Raskin. This is a case that should never have been brought. Davey Hearn is innocent, and we are going to fight this case and entrust the justice system to do the right thing. That's all.
Hell yeah. Like he seems to have a pretty competent, good lawyer. And yeah, like my understanding is what the accusation is that he like looked down, touched the water in the reflecting pool, noticed that some of the peeling up fucking paint was there, and he tugged on it. That's my understanding of what the accusation is. That can't possibly be a crime, right? That can't possibly be a crime. There's like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. I have a feeling that the Justice Department is going to drop this or it's going to get kicked, right? A judge is just on summary judgment going to kick this. Because this is the stupidest fucking thing in the world. This is hella dumb. Anyway, we're going to move on here. Just trying to do one of these a week. People keep trying to hate this guy, Zoran Mamdani, out of New York. And here's more evidence that it's going to, as time goes on, it's going to be impossible for anybody to hate this guy. Check this out.
Bus and 6 more minutes living their lives. Because I want a city where Christopher Leon Johnson has enough time to come and yell at a press conference. I don't want him to be stuck on the bus on the way to the press conference. That's the city I want. A city where you can heckle your public officials because the bus is running on time. And our streets should work like the working New Yorkers who use them, quickly and efficiently.
Hell yeah. He's like, I don't know, man. He's like, if you want to fucking get mad at me, I'd rather you just be mad at me and heckle me than fucking have to be waiting for a bus somewhere. Fuck yeah. Again, this guy it's just impossible to hate this guy. I think it's just because he's not full of shit. Like, I just think it's not, I think he's not full of shit. I don't think this is all a put on, right? I think this is just kind of who he is, and he gets along with people really well and doesn't get fucking flustered or mad at people, doesn't freak out, yell at people. Nothing. So in contrast to Zoran Mamdani, there's a guy, he runs the FCC. His name is Brendan Carr, and he is a dummy. Fuck Brendan Carr.
We've been looking at
prediction markets. I'm not sure how reliable any of us think they really are, but this is a good question. Will the FCC pull a Big Four TV station license by April 1st, 27? 22%. Would you take the over or under?
Well, I had not seen that yet. What I can tell you is, obviously, we've called in Disney's ABC licenses early for early renewal. That's pending before the FCC. There have been petitions to deny the renewal of those station licenses. Disney now is in the process of being able to file in response to that, and we're going to look at what the arguments are. But ultimately, if Disney has not been operating its ABC TV stations in the public interest over the last several years, then that's a pretty long putt for them. But ultimately, we have not made our decision yet, but we'll be guided based on the record before us. But of course, we're open-minded to that type of outcome, whether it's for Disney or others. As I've said before, broadcast licenses are not sacred cows. You have to comply with certain public interest obligations to get them and to maintain them and to renew them. If there's nothing you could do to ever lose a license, then it's not a license. It's something entirely different. And so we do want to take a hard look at broadcasters as a general matter and make sure they're living up to, again, that fundamental deal the American people were supposed to benefit from.
Yeah. I'll hold my comments until the next clip. They're just like mad at The View. These people are always mad at The View. I don't know. Does anybody even fucking watch The View? I think most people get clips of it on Twitter.
Yeah, but I think the broader point is we don't want the government making programming decisions, do we?
Well, we don't. We don't on cable. We don't on podcasts. But what Congress has said is that if you are on this one unique medium, there are special public interest obligations. And it's okay if the broadcaster doesn't like it. In fact, there was a late night show not that long ago that decided to take a segment that they otherwise would put on broadcast TV and put it on I think either YouTube or another online streaming service. And that's fine. That doesn't violate any FCC rule or regulation. But Congress ultimately put these rules in place, and we got to enforce them.
That wasn't a late night show. That was 60 Minutes. I think he's talking about 60 Minutes, that story that Barry Weiss killed because at least here in the United States, because Donald Trump didn't like it. Because it was like talking about CCOT and it was like too harsh on the administration. So it got pulled, but it did run in Canada. And I think it ran on YouTube, actually, out of, I think, Canada. I think it was the Canadian YouTube channel for 60 Minutes that it ran on, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember all the exact play-by-play of it, but I think that's what he's talking about. But 60 Minutes is not a late night TV show unless you're like 114 and go to bed at like 8 p.m. What time is 60 Minutes on? Fuck if I know. So I do want to say there's been really good coverage of this from The Verge. I listened to The Verge cast. Neelai Patel and David Pierce have been doing pretty good coverage on this. And one of the hypotheses over there that I think might be pretty good is that this is like a test balloon, a trial balloon to see if they can just start pulling licenses from people they don't like. And then there's been some speculation that because your cell phone operates on, the spectrum, public spectrum, your cell phone company uses public spectrum to provide data to your phone, that they may also try to extend the ability of the FCC to pull broadcast licenses from companies that have broadcast licenses for like broadcast television and start pulling their licenses for broadcast television based on what they're doing on the internet, because the internet traffic is going over the public airwaves in some cases, like when it's going to your cell phone. This is just speculation, but that seems like something this dumb motherfucker would try to do. I do not like Brendan Carr. I do not trust him. I'm not some Disney or ABC stan. I don't give a fuck about The View. Like none of that. I don't give a shit. I don't care, but I don't like the government going around fucking, if the license was up for renewal later, just wait till later. I don't know like why I don't like the government doing this. Like leave them alone. Like The View doesn't, because they're talking about like the equal time doctrine, but nobody ever enforced that. It's never been enforced. Like, no, never. And there's a carve out for it if you're a news program. And I mean, The View, I think it's a news program, right? It's news commentary, but I think it's a news program, right? So something like Saturday Night Live might have to abide by those rules because it's not a news program. And if you notice, they don't have a lot of candidates for office on, right? They have people who they've had people who are aren't running. They're elected officials. They've had elected officials on. They've had people on who are retired politicians. But if you notice, Saturday Night Live doesn't have a lot of candidates on because they might run into some problems with equal time because there aren't very many funny Republicans. So, and they're not a news show. But this is all really stupid. Nobody gives a fuck about The View. And most people don't even consume The View over television airwaves. Most people consume The View in clips like on YouTube or on Twitter or what have you. Up next, this is Tyrone Township, Michigan. We do public comment here on Tuesdays, but sometimes interesting things happen at these meetings and we include them on the Sunday show. So this is about data centers.
Have you personally signed any NDA, any agreement, or had any private communication, such as meetings, phone calls, text messages, or emails, with any developer, company, landowner, or representative regarding any current or potential project that could affect Tyrone Township? Chris Robetta.
No.
Dean?
No.
Jennifer?
I'm not answering your question. This is not the time or place.
I can ask you whatever I want. Don't tell me what I can say.
But we don't have to answer you.
But you're communicating with me, Jennifer. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Greg Carnes, how about you? Yes or no?
Not the place. We've already discussed this, so.
Who's already discussed it? I'm sorry? Who's already discussed it?
This has been discussed.
Who has? Who's discussed it? I've not discussed this with you. What are you saying? Pam Moffler? Yes or no?
You work for us. That's right.
Herman Ferguson? Won't answer? Zach Tucker?
Mike, stop. You say
Excuse
guilty
me.
one more time, you're out. I'm not tolerating it.
Stop the clock, please. While Greg's talking, I'd like my time back, please.
I don't need the comment in the background.
I need my time back. And quit interrupting me. Zach Tucker? But you answered at the Planning Commission. But you've decided not to answer now. Well, at least you're not looking as angry at me this time. I guess you're checking yourself.
Get him, lady. Get him. The first dude on the fucking far left over there was like, no. The other people, I don't know. You just go, no. Why not just fucking lie, dude? Just fucking lie. I don't know why you can't just lie. This is America. Just lie. Good Lord. So there's a guy in Colorado. There's a guy running for governor. He's the GOP nominee for a governor in Colorado. And I had to make sure this was real when I saw it. I don't usually watch these videos before the show, but I watched this. I had to make sure this wasn't like strangely edited or anything like that. I had to go find the source material. No, this is totally real. This guy's the governor nominee, the GOP governor nominee in Colorado.
You perform exorcisms, commanding demons to come out of people. Can you explain to me how that works?
I don't command the demons to come out of someone. I think of them as assignments or attachments to people. And we identify the demon.
Oh, like Scientology? Like a body thetan or an engram?
Like Jesus did. We ask what their name is, and then we give them commands.
This guy's all papers, please, to the fucking demon.
And they very frequently and typically will answer through the person's mind. They'll tell us what they hear, and then we destroy them, banish them to perfect judgment from Christ.
You also perform these exorcisms by phone. Are those just as effective?
They are.
Where does the demon go at the end of the exorcism?
We send them to the footstool of Jesus Christ, who we believe is sitting at the right hand of the Father, who then absolutely gives them perfect judgment of what happens.
You don't charge for the exorcisms, right?
No.
Okay. But they were part of the how-to guide that was available on your website for $99, the spiritual
So the answer actually is yes.
Guide with battle tools and resources. It's no longer available on the site.
Well, I think that's a film, and it's always whatever we have posted with that was you can pay $1.99, but we've never charged. I've never looked at a person and asked for remuneration for casting demons to Christ or praying for someone.
Do you understand why so many of your critics think you're a con man?
No.
Well, probably because you just lied right there, because the guy's like, you don't charge for it. And he's like, oh, no, I don't charge for it. The interviewer's like, I don't know, I saw something on your website where it seems like it's part of a package that you charge for. So, fuck yeah. That guy's going to lose. That guy's an idiot. Fucking love to see it. Up next, we got a Christian nationalist, Dale Partridge. We've been covering him a little bit. He is going to call for the return of European Christian colonization of African nations. Not great. Shout out to Right Wing Watch, by the way. Couldn't do the show without organizations like Right Wing Watch.
God has sovereignly assigned different stations and trajectories to different peoples for his glory. The Japhethites have been blessed to be enlarged in both territory and Christian regeneration. We see that in this passage. The Hamites have been assigned to a civilizational station of subordination and dependence. And the answer to this paradigm is not endless foreign money. That's not the answer to this problem. The answer is to return to European Christian colonization of African nations. I believe that's truly the answer, and let me tell you why. It's the only thing that has historically worked, that has shown fruit.
Wait, what?
I'm not talking about overtaking Africa. I'm not talking about...
But that's what colonization is. What? Wait, what? That didn't work? There's no British Empire anymore for a reason. That shit doesn't work.
Enslaving Africans. I'm not talking about exploiting Africans. But I'm talking about establishing order, godly leadership, and carrying the gospel to their lands. In fact, the only times that African nations have seen significant and sustained civilizational improvement, and I'm talking about infant mortality rates going down, I'm talking murder going down, I'm talking disease going down, tribal wars ceasing. The only time Africa has ever seen that happen in being sustained is when they have come under Japhethite supervision. We saw this in colonial Kenya, Botswana, dramatically in Rhodesia.
Oh no! I fucking know. Oh, you get the whole, there's no such thing as Rhodesia. Fuck you. Oh, hell no. Oh, Oh, hell no.
White Christians turned a broken third world territory into a thriving first world Christian nation in less than a century. You have a continent that has been struggling for literally millennia. And then you bring in a handful of European Christians, and they turn that in 100 years into a first world nation like that.
Rhodesia was never a nation. It was never recognized by the international community.
You just go, why? How did that happen? Why does that work? When supervision is removed, which it has been, the pattern always reverses. And we have painlessly saw that in Zimbabwe, previously Rhodesia. And what this teaches...
No, it was never previously Rhodesia. Rhodesia was like a white supremacist fucking grift, essentially.
Is that nations are downstream from... Well, let me say it this way. Nations are not just downstream from religion. They're downstream from race.
Whoa! Okay, so Rhodesia was just a grift. There was no nation there. It was never recognized by the international community. It was just a grift. There were like just grifters there that were putting ads in Soldier of Fortune magazine trying to get a bunch of fucking American racists to go down there and fucking subjugate the black people who already lived there. And it didn't really work. because it was just a bunch of fucking stolen valor ass motherfucker going down there going, oh, I was in the special forces. They're like, sure you were. Come on down here and fucking overthrow these, help us control these people. And it didn't work. It didn't work. Everybody knew what was going on at the time. Advertising in the back of fucking Soldier of Fortune magazine. Up next, this is a pastor named Martin Cedra. He's like kind of mad at the American version of Jesus for a reason you might find interesting.
America has created this gay, effeminate Christianity. They view God through a Western lens. They think Jesus was a weak figure who was a tolerant guy. We view Jesus carrying a nice little lamb. Every picture you see him, his hair is flowing, carrying a nice lamb. That's not the Jesus I see. The Jesus I see was a bold and courageous man who people wanted to kill him for what he said. So America's created this gay version of Jesus Christ. Jesus was not effeminate. Jesus was a bold lion. I always tell people, Jesus was not a soft guy. He had 6 packs. He was the most ripped guy you ever meet. He was a very bold and courageous man. He flipped tables in the temple. He got a whip out. He literally destroyed people.
That guy's kind of hot for Jesus. I think that guy's kind of horny for Jesus. Jesus was buff and fine, and he was a dom. All right, dude. Yeah, it's not. It's the average Americans who have created the gay Jesus. Not that you're a little gay for Jesus yourself here. Up next, we got Pete Hegseth pastor Doug Wilson on his desire to repeal the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. This 19th Amendment talk is real big in a lot of Christian nationalist circles right now.
Now, you've called for repealing women's right to vote, which is protected by the 19th Amendment.
Right.
Why?
Because it's a good idea. No,
a lot of women wouldn't think so.
A lot of women wouldn't agree. Right. But this is one of my favorite questions now, too. Mm-hmm. This is not an XXXY chromosome issue. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want women voting as individuals.
So what this guy wants, right, is a version of this where married couples who own property get to vote. And let's say you're a man and you're married to your wife and you have 3 kids. Well, the man would go and cast 5 votes for all 5 people in the house. And that's the version of voting that this guy wants. It's fucking stupid. It would take away the vote from anybody who's single. I don't know if it would take away the vote from a divorced man. Probably would it take away the vote from a man whose wife had tragically died? I don't know. They'd probably just find him another fucking concubine or something in this guy's world. But yeah, they want a version. They want to, like, you think the electoral system is fucked up now with the Electoral College and the way the Senate's a big old gerrymander and shit. This would make it way worse. Single people can't vote. Gay couples can't vote. Women don't really get to vote. God. We're almost to red light, folks. We're almost to red light. This is a video from Dinesh D'Souza. He doesn't like Candace Owens. Now, I don't like Candace Owens either. I also don't like Dinesh D'Souza. So this fucking rules. I'm glad these idiots are fighting.
The phenomenon is called malignant narcissism. And the basic idea here is that the malignant narcissist lives in a world in which the whole universe is constructed for your benefit. And not only that, but particularly if anybody runs afoul of that, you relentlessly try to malign and destroy them, because not to do that is to ultimately rupture your own preposterous self-perception. Now, if you apply these sort of traits...
Yeah, somebody asked how this isn't the description of Donald Trump, or I would suggest to you Dinesh D'Souza.
Narcissism. Let's remember, Candace had a kind of ugly break with TPUSA, as she's had an ugly break with others, but certainly with TPUSA. Nevertheless, I think she thought that she was the true kind of heir of Charlie Kirk, the sort of twin of Charlie Kirk. She's implied that both of them are sort of celestial beings that have some transcendental features in common. And all of this sounds to you and me a little crazy, a little unhinged, but it is not unhinged inside of the perverted world of malignant narcissism. So without trying to, quote, diagnose Candace Owens, I do think that this phenomenon very closely explains her behavior.
Brendan, you just described yourself, and maybe Candace Owens, but I don't know. I'm not sure that. I think this is just like more like self-absorbed and unable to accept that other people don't agree with you, right? That's not really narcissism. Narcissism is something else. But anyway. Up next, here's a RFK Jr. on The Hill, if you could imagine that, The Hill Rising, where if you go work there, apparently they take your brain out and put it in the air fryer and then put it back in your head, because nobody who used to work at The Hill is fucking cool. They all suck. But here's RFK Jr. on Rising on The Hill talking about ivermectin.
There are now 100 studies that show that ivermectin had profound benefits, generally speaking, a 70 to 85% reduction in hospitalizations and deaths. It was really a miracle drug, particularly in the later pandemic.
I'm saying if that was all in like Bangladesh or South America, it could be because
it was all over the world.
Off parasites.
It was all over the world. The countries where they use it for parasites, Nigeria, which has the highest river blindness burden in the world, did have the lowest COVID death rate in the world. They use both. They also have the biggest malaria burden, so virtually the entire population is on hydroxychloroquine, and a large part of the population is on ivermectin for river blindness. So, and they had almost no vaccination. They had, I think, something like 1.3% vaccination. So they did very well. But there are states in India, sort of side-by-side states, like Kerala and Uttar Pradesh, where Kerala used our protocol and had the same comparable death rates, and Uttar Pradesh used ivermectin hydroxychloroquine and ended the pandemic overnight. But there's also, if you go in the literature, and there's a doctor called Meryl Nass who has assembled a lot of these, so that you can go on her website and see them, or Harvey Reish, who's the Yale epidemiologist, has also assembled them. There's 400 studies that show benefits from hydroxychloroquine, over almost 100 studies, I think 99, that show extreme benefits, like devastating benefits of ivermectin. And there's a handful of studies that are government-produced, WHO-produced, financed by Bill Gates, that say that there was no benefit, but those studies have a lot of problems.
So, real quick, when a pandemic breaks out, a place like Kenya, where they're used to dealing with infectious disease, a lot of times because of poverty, but other reasons too, population density, like Nairobi, Kenya, for example, is one of the densest places on the planet. They're used to dealing with infectious disease, so they're going to be better at observing like protocols like distancing and mask wearing and all that. So that might be a reason they did better than the USA. Also, I don't know that country had the lowest death rate on the planet. I think, as you might imagine, I think this guy's lying. I also don't think that they had a sub 2% vaccination rate there. That doesn't sound correct either. I think the dude's just lying. When somebody in the chat mentioned that there's a parasite going around that's giving people explosive diarrhea, I thought it might have been funny, actually, in like a weird way. If seeing as that was a parasitic infection, if that was actually something that ivermectin did work for, I thought that'd have been kind of funny. Just after all this, finally they found something that ivermectin works for, but they'd probably find a way to fearmonger about it and be like, "Oh no, they're telling you to take ivermectin for this." Maybe their heads would explode. So we got one more before we go into red light. This is Dr. Oz. He's posting. This is a little bit of a workout video. It's only 10 seconds long. He's going to show you the proper posture for if you're doing squats, I guess.
Still, but you got to do squats the right way. Don't lean forward. You want to sit back like your bottom is about to touch the toilet seat, like you're about to go back like that, touch, practice it.
He almost fell over. I wish he would have fallen. Oh, man. What is with all these? I don't know, man. I almost put that in red light, but I'm glad I put it at the end of the podcast part of the show. I got nothing. This guy's doing a workout video. Anyway, you should be doing it in like a sauna with Kid Rock. That's how you do a workout video. So that was the podcast part of the show. If you're listening on the podcast, come check the live show out sometimes. We're live Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and some Catterdays here in the evening. And then I think maybe 2 Tuesdays a month, the Media Wench is live in the morning with soups. So any day that there's a Shasta County Board of Supervisors meeting in the morning, any Tuesday, the Media Wench is likely there. If you want to support this project, you can do it at eplex.store, at patreon.com/echoplex, or you can go to our website, echoplexmedia.com, click the support link at the top and find other ways to support this show. We're going to move on into red light. So if you're watching live, stick around. You know the drill. I'm going to change the color of the lights, pour myself a cocktail, and we're going to go on into red light. Tonight for red light, we have Nick Fuentes talking about who is or is not a Fed. We have some Asmund Gold stuff about how he doesn't read, and I'm assuming he doesn't bathe. We got Alex Jones versus Sneeko, and then we got Brandon Straka formerly from the Walk Away campaign on the Alex Jones show. We're going to check out the new InfoWars, and then we got a Trigonometry doing a hit on how they're upset about the air conditioning situation in the UK, because of course they're going to do that, and we haven't checked in on Trigonometry in a while. So this is Boomers by Periscope, and I'll be back in just a minute with Red Light.